B92 operated during the first decade of its existence not only as a media outlet, but as a social movement that was able to freely choose a form that would most efficiently respond to a political challenge. An independent radio, a promoter of the anti-war movement, contemporary art platform, publisher of socially engaged books, organizer of street performances, initiator of civil protests against the regime. Milosevic's police objected not to our reporting, which they did not deem problematic, but to our ability to affect events and even create them. The strength of our actions was comparable to the effect of the aired radio program. The trust that we earned in this way and our guerrilla operations allowed us to always have the upper hand. Every attempt of the regime to shut us down only increased our strength considerably, while the other side suffered public humiliation.
Jutro su 9:15, je definitivno zabranjen rad radija B92.
4 imposed bans and closures and 2 instances of usurpation of our entire property forced us, apart from our usual mission to provide timely and accurate information, to organize a network of media outlets and later to bring together the media and networks of non-governmental organizations and civil movements in order to create a large network of networks whose goal was to bring down Milosevic's regime using non-violent methods. Since the very beginning, a two-way process was established. Practicing of the freedom of speech and the fight for institutionalization of the freedom of speech, reporting on violations of other freedoms and attempting to create a society that respects all freedoms. Apart from this, we have practiced a so-called engaged activist journalism. For example, after the increase in the tax on products for babies, we organized the campaign All the President's Babies, during which we invited parents to give their babies to the President Milosevic in front of the presidential building. Many young families responding to our campaign. We organized innovative concerts using lorries on the go as the stage for bands to spread a message of peace in Belgrade. Our manifestations, like with barricades against barricades in Sarajevo, failed to stop the war, but they served to prove the existence of peace activism and active opponents to the war. Such a concept of protest was later accepted by student movements that resulted in formation of the Otpor resistance movement itself.
Radio B92 wins this year's Free Your Mind Award.
Thank you, MTV. First in Serbian.
Ja sam general Mladić. O mene su vam svašta pričali, jel tako?
After the fall of Milosevic from power, such activism has evolved, first through activities related to dealing with the past, investigative projects and conferences. We believe that building a just society requires that those who committed crimes be held accountable for their acts.
You have had your time, and your time is now finished.
The next step was to launch large-scale CSR actions. These activities have resulted from the inability of the state in transition to act responsibly and to solve the most serious social problems caused by various factors, economic, social, and traditional ones. Post-war societies are often characterized by domestic violence that is later multiplied, since children from such families themselves become perpetrators of violence. We prepared and launched a media campaign with the aim to sensitize the public. At the same time, we began collecting money needed to open safe houses for victims of domestic violence. We built first 2 such houses in Belgrade using our own resources and allowed them to be managed by a non-governmental organization because none of the state social services showed any willingness to manage them. Cooperation between all social stakeholders is of a crucial importance in attempts to solve such major issues, which is why we have continued to insist on inclusion of state institutions in this one and all other projects. The ownership of the next two houses built in 2009 and 2010 in Vojvodina was transferred to centers for social work, which now operate these safe houses and help the victims who use them. In the communities where safe houses exist, victims are more sensitized and more willing to report not only physical but also verbal and other forms of violence, while in the communities without any safe houses, victims hesitate to report even the most serious cases of physical violence. We continue to pressure the state into setting up funds to finance these houses, as well as supporting projects aimed at fighting domestic violence. So far, around 750,000 euros have been invested in the project, as well as a B92 campaign valued at more than 100,000 euros. After a research published in 2008 showed that Serbia had the greatest breast cancer mortality rate in Europe, caused by a taboo, we decided to launch a campaign, 77 Women in 77 Days, to inform the public about the significance of early detection of breast cancer. We set the bar very high. Our goal was to collect enough money to purchase a mobile digital mammograph unit that would have a long-term mission to assist in early diagnosis of cancer in all parts of Serbia, as well as to serve as a mobile mechanism for continuous educational and awareness-raising campaign aimed at breast cancer screening at the national level. Early detection of breast cancer means that it's curable in 97% of all the detected cases. In a year and a half, we collected about 650,000 euros, purchased and imported a mobile mammograph unit, and donated it to the Belgrade Oncology Institute. The institute immediately started using it and achieved spectacular results. About 25,000 women were screened for breast cancer within the first year and a half. Breast cancer in its early stadium was detected in about 120 women. After additional examinations and mammographies, within 3 to 6 months since the first screening, this cancer was diagnosed in another 100 women, totaling 220. All of them were referred to surgeons and most of them underwent surgeries. The campaign involved 125 companies from Serbia whose employees were sensitized with regard to education and prevention. The success of this campaign led to initiation of a campaign against cervical cancer, which was later expanded after its acceptance by the Ministry of Health and is still ongoing under the name of Serbia Against Cancer. The campaign for the whole project was worth around 150,000 euros, and this was a donation by B92. Each of our actions, we took great care to involve a wide range of institutions and other media outlets to make the campaigns viral within the community and to reach as many people as possible. This principle proved to be crucial in the several-year-long campaign that we launched with a mission to solve the recurring problem of the shortage of blood for transfusions and to develop a culture of voluntary blood donations. We launched another campaign, accompanied by fundraising for the purchase of a special blood-donating vehicle that would be used to reach potential blood donors and to make first blood donation as easy as possible. Today, after a successful acquisition of the vehicle and all the necessary equipment worth about €250,000, which was handed over to the Blood Transfusion Institute in Belgrade, shortages of blood for transfusions are rare. At the same time, the campaign was embraced and continued by other media outlets. malnutrition is increasingly becoming a worldwide phenomenon, characterizing not only third world countries, but also many communities in developing and transitional countries. In Serbia, the number of those under poverty line has sharply increased, which means that the number of people that need minimal assistance, for example, 1 meal a day, is increasing. At the same time, the ability of the state to respond to these new challenges is diminishing, resulting in reduction in the number of soup kitchens and their temporary closure due to shortage of food. In 2009, taking these developments into consideration, B92 has initiated a solidarity campaign, Food for Everyone, to collect food and financial funds necessary to ensure continued operation of soup kitchens and to increase their number. In the first 7 months of the campaign, the number of soup kitchens increased from 55 to 69, reversing the negative trend of closures caused by the economic crisis. During the first year of the campaign, thanks to the support from donors and local governments, almost 3 million meals were prepared for more than 28,000 beneficiaries. In total, we collected more than 2 million kilograms of food and raised 200,000 euros, intended to fund the operation of existing soup kitchens, as well as new ones to be opened in future. The total value of the project amounts to more than 2.5 million euros. In the second stage of the campaign, we intend to promote efforts to establish a concept of self-sustainability of soup kitchens as a form of social enterprise companies.
Pokažimo da nam je stalo. Hrana za sve.
Established in 1994 by Radio B92 with the goal to provide premises for work and gathering of young artists and cultural and social activists, as well as to promote activism, culture and art at the time when armed conflicts were ravaging the former Yugoslavia, while the voices of alternative segments of society were completely suppressed. Rex Cultural Center has not only remained true to its original purpose of serving as a platform for Serbian alternative scene, but also developed many projects whose reach spread beyond the original scene. One of the most complex and significant was the Free Zone project that promotes respect for human rights via screening and promotion of socially engaged documentary and feature films, as well as education of all age groups, especially the young people. B92 and Rex paid particular attention to and developed cooperative projects aimed at promoting and facilitating activities of other organizations dealing with major social issues. The shelter for children who live and work on the street was moved to the premises of Rex after the original shelter lost its premises because of protests by other tenants in the building. After a coordinated pressure by the people who manage the shelter and the B92 newsroom on the Belgrade City Council, the shelter was relocated to premises where children in care now receive all the assistance and attention they need. B92 continues to strongly support the activities of the shelter in every possible way. We have also given our support to the Clown Doctors project that makes days spent in hospitals easier for children suffering from serious illnesses. In the past 5 years, we have supported the project not only by promoting it, but also by raising funds necessary to continue the activities in this group of enthusiasts. We have lobbied various ministries to join the project. Our campaigns move in two equally important directions. On one hand, we have B92 news programs that often directly deals with the issue in question, while on the other, the B92 creative team designs and produces original and effective classic campaigns. News shows identify, analyze and help solve individual problems in two-way interactive communication with viewers and partner companies. We regularly donate our advertising space, produce programs and reports, and in the course of some actions, we conduct full promotional campaigns on certain issues. Employees in these departments most often donate their creative effort, while other employees participate on a voluntary basis in various ways. The value of campaigns, advertising time and creative work donated by B92 since 2007 via all its platforms amounts to between 300,050 and 500,000 euros per year. B92 realizes its CSR activities through the B92 Fund that was established in 2004 as a separate, non-profit unit that independently manages the activities assisted by B92 media platforms. In the past 6 years of our active involvement in major social issues, B92 and B92 Fund have cooperated with around 750 companies, institutions and individuals.
I'm sure that B92 will continue to do so in the new European CEN.